Hi there, it's Kira at Unfurl, and today's video is about that conflicted place that we can sometimes find ourselves in, which is knowing we have this deeply knowing we have this potential to fulfill amazing things with our lives. We just know it. And yet at the same time, we procrastinate. We don't do anything about it. We put off things that we know would help us achieve our goals. And then we give ourselves the worst time, the hardest time. We judge ourselves being lazy. I'm so lazy. Oh, I can't be bothered. I'm such a loser for not taking the steps that we know will help us. So it's just this awful feedback loop of knowing our potential, not doing anything about it, judging ourselves for it, and then falling into a bit of a slump. And then maybe we might have another little upswing and we'll get excited about something that we know we can do. And then back in the slump again of not doing anything and talking to ourselves about what a terrible loser we are. So obviously I have been in this loop. For a very long time I was in that loop. And I work with an awful lot of clients who are in the same loop. And today I'd like to propose the idea that the reason we're stuck in this place of procrastination is because there is unconscious childhood trauma that is steering the show. So what I've found with clients is that sometimes they don't even want to do a therapy session. They just can't be bothered turning. They don't want to come because they feel like they're in this nothing place. And so they may try and cancel and say, I'm not feeling it today. And then I may say, are you sure? Is this something that maybe we can work with? And occasionally they'll say, all right then. And so what happens is I'll invite the client to describe what this place is like. And it's so dead. It's got a heavy energy of sort of procrastination and nothingness, blandness, that nobody really wants to experience it. They want to go over there and achieve their goals and experience all the success that they know they're capable of. But this piece of work requires us to really go there, go into it and feel your way in. And what I've seen many times is as a client starts to describe the sensation in their body, to visualize it, and obviously I'm an art therapist, so I'll say, what does it look like? Can you create an image that gives me a sense of what it is that you're in? And the kind of images that come up are caves, deep pits, tunnels, and boxes. But there are these, and always they're alone. They're alone in these secluded places. And if we tune inwards and I say, what does it feel like in there? There seems to be a similar thread that runs through the stories, which is lonely, hopeless, scared, comes up a lot, given up. But the striking thing is there's always a sense that it's a young child on their own. And when I ask about the environment, so what does it feel like in there? Again, the general consensus seems to be it's uncomfortable, but it's familiar. And with that familiarity comes almost a sense of safety. So what we're looking at here is a young part of you, or a young part of the client who's stuck in this loop of procrastination and hopeful, activity, busyness, and then back into the procrastination again. What we're actually working with is a young part who, it's highly likely, was left to their own devices when young, not fully seen, not fully supported and encouraged the way that they would have needed to be, or else there were difficult things happening at home or traumatic things happening at home that were quite frightening for this young child. And so this young child is trapped in this state of fear, alone, and has kind of given up hope that anybody is going to come and bring any comfort or any support. So this part has retreated into this cave or this pit, this tunnel, and it's uncomfortable, but it's safe. So you can imagine, to achieve any of our goals, to achieve any of to fulfill our potential, it requires us to step out of our safety zone, our comfort zone, and try new things. It's a huge risk. We're going to meet failure. We're going to meet rejection. We're going to meet that feeling of getting it wrong, of failure, basically. Or maybe we'll meet success out there, and then these expectations will be on us that are very high, and maybe we don't feel, this young part doesn't feel like it can meet people's expectations. So you can sort of see why there's you who deeply knows, like instinctively knows, that you're capable, because we all do. The theorist Maslow would have said, we all know deeply, have a sense of what we're capable of. And if all our basic needs are met for a safe home and for love and support, that we will rise up this pyramid, as he saw it, up to the top where we can fulfill our potential as human beings. So that's what it's like. It's like a flower kind of reaching towards the sun, knowing instinctively that that's what it's meant to do, and then it will blossom. But if you can imagine, there's a young child part in you who knows it but is afraid to go out into the world. The world, as this child yet knows it, is a scary and unpredictable place. It doesn't have the support. This child part doesn't have the support, the encouragement to make such a risk, to take such a risk and go out in the world. And so this piece of work will require not pushing on through and writing down your goals every morning and ticking them off. Like, that can work for some people, but if you have unresolved trauma, this piece of work requires going into the cave, meeting this child part, putting words to their experience, because by doing that, you are now being the adult who's going into the cave and saying to the child, what was it like for you? And you are now being the adult who's listening. So for the first time, this child is not in the cave on their own. There's an adult who cares, present. And it's this piece of recovery work that will change that story of being too fearful, or what we label laziness or procrastination, to reach out, to take little baby steps out into the world, start achieving some goals, to ticking off some of the steps that we need. And if it doesn't work out, this adult part of us has to be available to meet the scared child who goes, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. And the adult part will go, it's okay. It's okay. We'll try it a different way. Who else can we bring in for a bit of support here? Who else will have the answers to this bit? So this is your reasonable adult who can come in, but you have to notice this triggered child who becomes anxious, fearful. But the way it can present in life is, this is oh God, production values are very low here today. My lamp is crashing into my head. We need that. We need to catch that part of us, and we need to be able to soothe it. We have to notice that it's triggered in order to be able to come in and self-soothe. So it is a tricky piece of work, but it can help us to, oh yeah, I know what I was saying before the lamp hit me. How our procrastination can kind of present itself is like this heavy weight of doom descending over the top of us. Can't be bothered. And our rational mind will think, it's just me being lazy. Can't be bothered. So you have to be really switched on to go, this is my child. This is my inner child. Something's happening here. What's happening for this child inside? What do they need right now? They might need to take a break. They might need to ask somebody else for some information. They might need a supportive external person to come in, or some support from that inner adult who can go, I know you're finding this bit challenging. Let's just do one more little bit and then we'll take a break and we can come back to it later. So it's a whole different way of meeting this procrastinator. But if you have unresolved trauma, and I don't mean necessarily big, awful, terrible stuff happening at home. It could have been simply that you weren't seen in the way that you needed to be seen in order to feel, I'm amazing and I can try new things and go out in the world and I know I'm safe because there's people here to look after me. You mightn't have had that. And so going out into the world to achieve your goals, it's not going to happen until this little part of you knows it's okay. You've got what it takes. You can do this, and I'm with you every step of the way. So be kind to yourselves. And if you can, try and find a way to connect with this young part, because this young part really needs you. Okay, bye for now.